Hey, this is Dave Cotter with Integrity Capital. We're handling some of the equity on this project we're going to walk through today. And I have on the line with me Philip Rainey, who is the overseer and fee developer of the Lofts at Mill Creek. So thanks for coming on today, Philip.
Thank you.
So, Philip, maybe just to start off, why don't you just give our listeners just an overview of the project, where exactly Brenham is relative to the rest of Texas, and then I'll
Okay.
kind of dive in from there.
So, so Brenham is a bedroom community outside of Houston. It's about 45 minutes to an hour drive from Houston. I would call it South Central Texas. If you keep continuing on through Brenham, you get to Austin about an hour and 15 minutes away, hour and 30 minutes away to Austin. And it is one of the communities that has really kind of grown recently here with COVID, everybody getting out of the sprawl and getting out into the country.
Mm.
I would say it's a true bedroom community to Houston. It's also close to two college campuses, one being Texas A&M, which is about 30 minutes away, and then it also has a junior college there. Blinn College is a junior college that is a feeder school to Texas A&M. The need right now that we're seeing in Brenham is the last time that there was apartments developed there were in the 90s. So it's been almost 25 years since any apartments went into that area. And a lot of people are developing kind of ranchettes and moving out on acreage, but not everyone can afford those. What we're trying to do is provide something that's not in that market. I've specialized in student housing for about 30 years, since 1993 here in Austin. And I was hired by this developer out of Houston who was a commercial developer and also a gentleman that does a lot of ranch development. And he hired me because I do specialize in medical office and student housing, and I've been doing it for about 30 years. The gentleman that hired me was Terry Ward, and we were introduced by the contractor who does construction as Gigi Thompson out of Houston at Sun Builders Company. And that's how we were introduced about 2 years ago, started this project on this land that Terry has. It's about 7.47 acres, and it's just adjacent to Blinn Junior College. So when I first looked at it, I thought it was going to be a student housing play. However, we decided to do something a little different because there's not this type of product in that market. We've gone in and I've asked them to go ahead and let's build an amenity center and make it a true apartment complex where some of these students that go into the college dorms, typically they get a room and then they go eat at a public hall or a public cafeteria. And they have a bathroom, an ensuite in their units, and they're more of dormitories. And where we're building something that is adjacent to the campus that is a true apartment complex. So, and also have an amenity center with a swimming pool. And so if you are a older professional going back to school, or if you're just part of the community because of all the construction that's going on in Brenham right now and the growth, there's not a lot of product out there. So we're thinking this small number of units would be a great test subject. And then should this one, we're getting that kicked off right now, we'll go into the market with some more units.
Do you know if there's any other units coming online that you're aware of?
The only thing that we are aware of is there's a 55 and older senior development going out there. I do not have the current count of what those units are, but they're 300 to 400 units going out there, is what we've heard. I don't know the location. Again, it's a matter of being in the market and the talk of what's going out there, but it is an older community, kind of a retirement community.
Great. So walk me through, before we dive into the particulars of the project itself, what would you say are, so if I'm understanding you correctly, the play is Blinn College, this, call it community type college, they're having a issue with being able to continue to grow because they just don't have the housing. But if they have the housing, then they'll be able to get more students, which means that there should be, according to the study, plenty of demand for the apartments. Am I understanding that correctly?
That is correct. They've gone in, and a lot of their student housing right now is aged, and they haven't done renovations on them. And what we're doing is providing something brand new for less money. The rental rates that they're getting on their housing is more than what we're asking price per square foot for our rentals.
That's great. So the demand drivers obviously is from the college, and so you guys have a pretty high level of confidence that there's a tremendous need for the units.
There is a need for this type of product. Yes.
All right. And let's talk about the project itself. I know you talked about the land size. I have the site plan a little bit up here. So you've got, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buildings. Is that right?
Yes, there's 5 housing. There are 3-story buildings and 1 amenity center. That's with the little pool.
Okay. And how many total units?
94 units.
Okay. And what's going to be the unit mix on these?
So we've got, I believe it's 36 1-bedroom, 1 bath, 36 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and we are 12 and 12 on the 3 2s and the 4 2s.
Great. And do you know, like from a rental rate perspective, what that's going to look like? And how does that fare with respect to what the market would bear?
So what we did is, because it's such a small market there, we went around and actually called the leasing agents in that area. There are a lot of mom and pop shops. A lot of the groups out of Houston will come in and sell larger commercial lands. They don't do a lot of the hands-on leasing up there. So everything's kind of local. So we've done phone call to phone call, speaking to students. Then also we pulled with, I'm not sure if you got a hold of from Terry, the CBRE market study. And if you look at the rates that they have on Blinn campus right now, we're below them, price per square foot. And because we're not a student housing property, they're leasing student housing by the bed, where we're leasing these by the unit, depending on if there is an older student that comes in here. And then, again, this is a 2-year college. And a 2-year college, a lot of people will come here before they go to A&M, or they'll get recruited by A&M and or accepted by A&M. However, they'll have to go and take classes for 2 years here prior to being doing their upper division courses at A&M. So pricing wise, price per square foot, very comfortable with leasing there. There's not a lot of competition. And we've got, just by going through the student housing that's on campus, we're providing a better product for less money.
That's great. Now, do you know how fast, where is the project right now with respect to being able to pull permits? Are you already approved and everything through the city?
So that's my job, and I've pushed that through. We have gone through the city. We're site plan approved.
Okay. And
we've actually got we're submitting this next week, our round of second comments. And it's a matter of, it's a matter of going through the process with them, submitting it. They're going to issue it at the meeting that we meet with them. So what we've gone through is we've been given 2 rounds of comments. We've addressed those comments. Now all we need to do is turn in the plans, and we'll have our building permit. So it is shovel ready right now.
Is there any is it pretty level graded then, Philip? Or is there
the ground itself?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually quite a bit of, the ground is not the best. There's a creek. If you go back to that site plan picture, you can look to the north. It's a nice, beautiful lot, the 7 acres is, and it runs along a creek. So that creek we've graded all the way from the creek. We've got a little bit of a water detention pond Keep on scrolling back a little bit to the,
I don't know.
no, go the other way.
Okay.
The picture that shows the 5 buildings with the amenity
Oh,
center.
got it. Okay.
So if you look along there, there is that green space in the back.
Okay.
On the other side of the green space is a creek.
Got it.
So very nice setting. We will have to cut a lot of the grading out because the soil is not conducive for building on, whether it's a 2-story building. We do a lot of cut and then we'll haul in some new dirt.
That's great. So, and these roads already in, right?
The roads, Sager Street is in and Old Mill Creek is in.
Okay. So you just have to put all the infrastructure in and everything. So utilities, water, everything to the site, no issues.
No issues whatsoever. I'm used to developing in the city of Austin. Even the connection fees that we pay, almost $1 a square foot here in Austin, they're small amounts, like $3,500 for a meter, and to get a meter and a tap over there. Completely different market. Pricing that I have put together in that budget is a prelim pricing. We've gone out to a couple of multifamily contractors, and we still believe that we can sharpen up the numbers when it comes to the total construction. We did not want to get someone online and go to contract yet because the market has been moving quite a bit the last 15, 16 months.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it looks like that on the pro forma, it looks like we're at about $1.6 million gross, $1.85 million on the net. And you guys have the first mortgage, I think, teed up with a local lender that wants to do it at, do you know what kind of loan to cost they're doing at all?
I don't know what the points are, what they've put forth to Terry, but I do, the interest rate has still been at 4.25.
Okay.
That's for the construction. I believe it's going to be 24-month or even 36-month construction at interest only. And then we go to permanent. I truly believe this will, in fact, I've done this so many times in Austin that I believe this thing could be sold as soon as it's leased up.
Okay. So, and then I believe the ask really is what we're looking for is you've got a, $17.2 million technical budget. And then there's an ask for about $4 million, just shy of $4 million on the investment.
That's correct.
Side. Yeah. Okay.
That is correct.
Got it. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull up that little model just so we can take a look here real quick. So on this, we're 90,000 rentable square feet, 7.5 acres. And looks like your year one. I mean, how fast do you think you guys are going to be able to lease this up?
So I believe that will be 50%. And since the beginning and going into this market and researching this market, I believe we'll be at least 50% leased up with students, if not professionals. And then within another 6 months, have it completely 100% leased. And I believe the 50% lease up will be while we're under construction.
That's great. So you guys will just be able to take deposits and so.
That is correct.
Okay. And looks like we're projecting around a 17% IRR.
That is correct. And if you play with this model, I've used this model for about 30 years, and it's probably it's basic. I can go through and model and predict the outcome on a property. And I know when you play with a spreadsheet like this, it's what you put in to make it look good or don't look good.
Sure.
So if you'll go back here to the left where I've got it in red,
yep,
I can go through and toggle those rents a little bit. And it's kind of where I started looking at the tolerances of this. I can change these rents up a little bit. Let's say we get in and we lease up really fast. We could probably play with leasing higher than what we've modeled, price per square foot there. I'm highly conservative, and I'd rather show a model that is true, accurate, and works, and then perform higher on that than what I'm showing.
And I think the way it's modeled here is it's a 80%. So is the LP's putting in the 100, but it's an 80-20, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure. Okay. So basically, we understand some of the metrics. We have a pretty good idea on the budget. You're going to pull permits. So technically permits could be pulled by when? Are we talking May?
They could be pulled next week.
Okay. So
we've actually
fast.
Revised CAD, the revised grading. And what we had to do is have a couple of conversations with it's a small municipality, and they have a third-party reviewer. We had to send our civil engineer back to visit about the creek and how we're going to mitigate against that creek. So he showed that we will not be in the creek at all.
And will it just be a GMAX contract then? Does that seem fair for?
It will. It'll be a guaranteed max, or with a not to exceed. This client, Terry Ward and Sun Builders, has done quite a few projects together, and I've also worked with Sun Builders. And
is the land under contract, owned already, or what's the status of that?
It's owned already.
Okay.
So Terry Ward bought the land, and he's putting the land in as part of his equity.
Okay, great. Well, that's terrific. I think that gives a pretty good overview on things. And so, this is obviously an equity ask on the old Mill Creek apartment project in Brenham. And Philip, I appreciate you just taking the time to walk us through this.
You bet. Thank you.